then telling me you want to do the show without me.
Come on, no. Come on. I got it. You know I got to do the show with you, bro. Wow. Come on now.
My hair looks huge.
Yeah, your hair is
Jesus
looking...
Christ.
Hair's got volume. Is voluminous
it volume. A word? Yeah, voluminous is a word.
Okay. I didn't know if that was I didn't know if that was a word.
Voluminous. Yeah, that's a word.
Tight. All right. Second floor sports starting on the dictionary.
It has nothing to do with hair. It has to do with loose or ample clothing.
Voluminous? That's what voluminous means?
The example phrase is a voluminous purple cloak, which I could totally fuck with.
Yeah, I would fuck with the purple cloak.
I could fuck with the purple cloak. That's for damn sure.
If you're listening to the show, and you're wondering what the hell we're talking about, which is, fair all the time. Ben's hair, it's got some height on it right now. It's not nearly as tall as it's been. No, I think the tallest I've ever seen it was Cortica.
Either Cortica junior year or week 1 St. Vincent. This past year. Yeah. That was huge. That was before I got my haircut. I let it go for 4 months.
Yeah, I think one of the pictures I use on my website and things like that, it's just that picture and it's just boom.
You can't even see the top of the headset in my hair.
Dude, honestly, respect. The closest I've gotten to that was we did a lacrosse game and the mic lines up perfectly with my beard and you just can't see it.
Oh, I remember that.
And it's just I see your headset, but where's your mic? And I was like, it's there.
It's in there somewhere.
You just can't see it. Boy, oh boy, do we have a big week of NFL football to break down, Ben.
I feel like it's every week we look at the schedule and we're like, how could they possibly schedule such bad games?
You're a pessimist with this sort of thing. With NFL scheduling, you're a pessimist.
Okay.
This is it, Chief. This is the worst week of football we have. There's no doubt about it.
I don't know. I mean, I feel I forget. I'm not gonna be able. I have to go back through the rundowns to see what we made of other games. I don't know if this is quite the worst week. It's definitely the most bottom heavy, if you will. There are a lot of not good games.
So it's not the worst week, but it's bottom heavy.
I don't.
There's no
It's tough.
Okay, well. Think about.
Well, do we have more games with both teams over 500 than last week?
Okay, maybe.
No, we don't. I don't think we do.
We only have 2.
We kind of only had 2 last week.
The other one.
I don't know. This is a weird. Well, let's get into it. We'll let the people decide. I mean,
okay, so I went in. I don't know if you peeped the.
I am noticing now, just looking at the rundown.
I changed the name of the tiers because they had it the same thing as last week, and I didn't.
It isn't accurate. It isn't accurate.
I didn't feel good having my top tier be Rams Cardinals and Browns Titans and calling it banger alert. Right?
Yeah. No, that's very true. And honestly, Browns Titans shouldn't even be in there.
The big thing for me for this week is. It's bottom heavy. There are a lot of bad games, and there's no marquee matchup. Rams Cardinals is a good game.
Rams Cardinals is it should be a lot of fun, but that's not oh my god, crazy matchup.
It should be, but there's also a very real possibility that the Rams just come out and shit the bed again, and the Cardinals just run all over them.
Very possible the Cardinals come out and Kyler Murray's still not healthy all the way, and he's not running the ball nearly as well. That's one thing I was reading is that his rushing numbers, the first I think the first up through week 5, and then since then went from the best rushing threat in the NFL to literally just the guy in terms of running the ball as a quarterback. Daniel Jones has got a much higher yards per carry than Kyler Murray does.
Well, Daniel Jones is also the best mobile quarterback in the league.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's an unfair comparison to make the Kyler, but
it's vanilla Vic, man. No, I mean for Kyler, it started a little before, but the drop off since he hurt his shoulder against the Seahawks is just it's only been 2 games, but you just noticed the difference.
Exactly. It's very visible that something is not quite right with the Cardinals offense the way it was in the beginning of the season. And I think a lot of that has got to be to, you give defensive coaches enough time to look at a guy like Kyler Murray, they're going to figure out something to throw at him. And then it's on Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler to say, like, all right, like we were cooking the first half of the season. Clearly something, someone tipped somebody off about God knows what. They figured something out with our offense. How can we adjust?
And I mean, look, it's not really rocket science. You go from a Cardinals team that's a high flying aerial attack, and you have, a running back as your quarterback, like Kyler Murray. I mean, he's a running. I don't know why I started saying running back, and I tried to flow with it.
I don't know where you started talking, and I was like, okay, I can kind of see where he's going with this one. Like,
I don't know. I just randomly just said running back.
All the 5'9", 170-pound running backs in the league.
Yeah.
And there are some of them, but not a lot of successful ones.
Yeah, no.
Also, no one even called Kyler a running. Like,
no, like I don't know why. Ben, I didn't mean to say running back. Okay, what I was saying is a high flying offense, and then you have Kyler Murray's rushing ability. You take away his rushing ability because they maybe don't want him to get hurt, things like that, and then you also sprinkle in defensive coordinators, just keep getting more and more tape on him.
Exactly,
it's making a difference. Once you turn into a running Cardinals team with Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds, no disrespect, but like.
I mean,
that's a lot.
Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds aren't lighting the league on fire. I can tell you. I don't think that's a no disrespect type of comment. It's realistically they're good.
With all due respect,
the guy,
Mark Jackson.
They're nothing special. I think, at least for me personally, like there was so much hype fantasy wise around Kenyon Drake this year, and like sometimes
I never got it, man.
I never got it, but sometimes at a certain point, like I was seeing him mocked in the first, second round, like everywhere I looked, and I was like, all right, like clearly I must be missing something here. Like,
ESPN, and then I think Drake at like 9, I think.
Yeah, he was, end of the first, top of the second target for most guys in mind, everything I was reading. And then it's like, obviously fantasy football projections and real football projections are different, but there is a decent amount of overlap. I think somewhere in people's heads, they bought the Kenyon Drake fantasy hype as like Kenyon Drake is a actual like legit good NFL running back hype. And he just isn't quite there yet. He's a good running back and what people thought was going to be a very, very electric offense. And it's still a good offense, but it's not blowing the doors off teams the way I think a lot of people expected him to.
Well, and I'll leave this comment for our good friend Josh Hayden, who's in the chat right now and on our IGTV. You can know a lot about football like our good friend Josh Hayden does, but you can just also be really bad at fantasy football like our friend Josh Hayden is.
Josh's issue is he just drafts the guys that get hurt and miss the season every year.
It sounds like a good friend, Dr. Dravanos, Dr. D, who just drafts people that don't play in the NFL season.
And look, I've had this conversation with Josh numerous times this season. He can't draft guys who get hurt during the season. You have to draft the guys that don't get hurt,
It's a very good point.
I mean, look at my team. I drafted Saquon. He got hurt, but the rest of my team's been golden.
If we're this far into fantasy, we might as well just plug each of our teams. Again, the top 2 teams in the league. Who's surprised?
No one's surprised.
Not me. Our league chose to extend into week 13 of the regular season, which is bullshit. But we get to avoid at least having a playoff round with buys. 3 teams on buys, which fucking sucks. It sucks.
It sucks both ways. But look, we're not here to talk fantasy football. I mean, the last point on this Rams Cards game, at least in my mind, this is a huge spot for both of these teams to kind of make a statement as to who the second place team in the NFC West is. And obviously, if the Cardinals win, then they're both tied at 7-5. But if the Rams win, they're 2 games up over the Cardinals and have beaten them both times this year.
Yeah, and they'll be right there. Yeah, they'll be right there with the Seahawks and the Rams.
Well, assuming the Seahawks, blow the doors off the Giants, which is what I would expect.
And the Rams beat the Seahawks their first game. I mean, we get a really fun matchup this week with Jalen Ramsey and DeAndre Hopkins, second best Hopkins in the league behind Dustin Hopkins, of course.
Right.
I found this really cool stat. It's the highest paid wide receiver and the highest paid cornerback playing against each other the last 10 years.
Yep.
The last one was OBJ, the guy that you pay to not trade.
Not familiar.
Him and Josh Norman.
It wasn't that Josh Norman game. That was when Josh Norman was in Washington.
Yeah. Well, he was in Washington for this game, but it wasn't that game.
No, I'm not. No, I'm being like not the Odell Josh Norman game.
Yeah. You have
that was just one of the strange things. When DK and Darius Slay started going at it like early in the first quarter in the Seahawks Eagles game, I fully thought we were going right back to like an Odell Josh Norman, just like two guys just literally swinging at each other, not even trying to run a route.
Who was it? Oh, someone on the Bengals. I don't think it was Dre Fitzpatrick, just swinging at someone over the middle of the field. I don't remember who it was.
I remember AJ on the Bengals, not a DB, but AJ Green like choke slammed a guy like 2 years ago.
On the Texans?
No, I think it was a Bengals Jags game. AJ Green was like trying to block downfield. They kind of got into it. Then
Jonathan Joseph, maybe. No,
I don't remember who it was on the Texans, but AJ Green literally came up like behind the guy, like choked, grabbed him around the neck and like swung him. Craziness.
Yeah,
crazy.
I love wide receiver cornerback fights. These are two guys who have played against each other. You got to remember they used to be in the same division a couple of years ago before they both got traded. Last time they matched up, I think.
Well, it's almost like they are in the same division still.
Well, they are. I'm saying they were in the same division before, but in a different division.
Okay, yeah, okay.
They were both.
I think I misheard you because I was like doing the math. And I was like the NFC West. Yeah, no, they're still in the same division.
The NFC West definitely is the same division as the NFC West.
Exactly. Okay. No,
they were both. They're both in the AFC South. Yes. Ramsey.
I got you.
Jacksonville, and Hopkins with Houston. Anything else on here? Prediction? How you think this game's gonna go?
I just don't know what to make of either of these teams. I was like, if you talked to me like 3 weeks ago, I thought the Cardinals were going to be competing for like an NFC Championship appearance. Now, post Kyler's injury, I've tempered my expectations quite a bit. I thought Kyler was tearing. I had not thought Kyler was tearing shit up in the first half of the season, and has very obviously slowed down. I mean, I worry that this will just kind of be like, just kind of like a weird, like sloppy, not sloppy, but just kind of like a slow game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sean McVay and Cliff Kingsbury are such smart coaches. I wonder if they're just kind of going to like, I wonder if they're going to almost outcoach themselves and try to like be so like, break tendencies and think out so far outside the box that you're just kind of like, that they get away from their own game and we end up with like a weird, like 17-13 kind of like snoozer.
Well, I mean, it's the division for it. And any game that slows down benefits the Rams at that point.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
the Cardinals defense has been better.
Yeah, but the Rams offense isn't very good. Their defense is good. We'll move on to the next game, the second game out of two in our first tier.
Again, should not be in tier. This is not a tier 1 game by any stretch of the imagination.
I feel like we haven't said what the name of tier 1 is.
Good. Period.
Good. Period. This is the 8-3 Browns, still weird to say, and the 8-3 Titans. Record-wise, very close.
Roster-wise, the Browns should get worked, realistically.
We will say this, though. We always talk about the Browns have to play their schedule. The Browns don't play anyone good. The Browns don't deserve to be 8-3. The Browns are fraud teams.
All valid statements.
Yes. If they win this game, that's it. The Browns at least deserve to be a good team. Or be
look, the Browns... if the Browns win this week, they realistically, they don't quite lock up a playoff spot. But if you look at the Browns schedule, they've got 3 good games left and then the Giants and the Jets. You figure the Giants and the Jets are both W's. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going out on a limb.
Very fair.
And then if you beat any of, let's see, it was the Titans. I had it pulled up here. It was, if you beat the Titans, the Ravens, and the Colts. Hold on, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Titans, Ravens, or Steelers. If the Browns beat any of those 3 teams, just one of those 3 teams, they basically lock up a playoff spot. And that's
we are asking you, just literally, aside from like a week 3 win over the Colts, in which Phillip Rivers had to deal with the mob and threw the game, win 1 game so we can actually believe that you're legit. Like, that's all we're asking. And the big thing about that is not just that the Browns haven't won a big game besides that Colts game like 7 weeks ago at this point. It's that they haven't done it without Odell. And like this team looks a lot worse because that was the game that Odell went absolutely berserk against the Colts.
The one game that he went
the
off
one game where a Browns head coach figured out how to use his best receiver and like a top 10 receiver in the league. Like, I mean, look, this is a big opportunity for them. I'm really excited to see Denzel Ward and AJ Brown.
I got bad news for you.
What's bad news for me?
Guess who's not playing?
AJ Brown?
Nope.
Denzel Ward?
Yep.
This is gonna be ugly.
Well, I think I saw earlier he was doubtful. He might have been downgraded to out at this point, but I saw not expected to play Denzel Ward.
Oh, that is not good.
That's huge. That's their only good core. That's the only good member of their secondary left. Like AJ, I would expect this is a great week to own AJ Brown in fantasy. I would say I would assume he's gonna pop off. I think the Browns' only shot at winning this game is if
he's out.
If somehow Myles Garrett goes like absolute God mode and like completely shuts down Derrick Henry, which I don't think is going to happen. That's the only way the Browns stay competitive in this game. Or for some reason, the Browns actually like come out and play better than the sum of their parts and don't, play like shit in big games.
Hey, I mean, we thought the Browns would shit the bed against the Eagles a couple weeks ago with half their team on the COVID list. The only problem being that this Titans offense significantly better than the Eagles offense.
This Titans team significantly better than the Eagles. The Eagles are trash. They're garbage.
Garbage team.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. We both said garbage.
Speaking of garbage.
Tier 2 called Should Be Fun, period. Could be garbage, period. And I think that's the perfect way to phrase this tier, right?
Fun for like kind of nerd fans like you and I who are like in it and can really like get into the numbers and the deep dives.
But for sports fans like us, like football, maybe not baseball because it's too long of a season, but football and basketball, basically any game you can find something to be interested in it about.
Yeah.
And like baseball too, believe me. But like, mid-July game between the Reds and the Marlins, like maybe the first day, I'm saying like maybe
that's electric. A Sixto Sanchez, Trevor Bauer matchup. What do you mean?
That's what I'm saying. If that's the pitching matchup, it could be great. But if you have,
I know I'm giving you a hard time.
All right, we got 4 games in this. We'll start with the first one. Saints at Falcons, rematch of a couple weeks ago.
Taysom Hill's first game as a quarterback, no passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. In case
he had the same thing last week, but he was
my tight end in fantasy that week. I just wanted to bring that. I just wanted to bring that up again in case
I won that week, so that's fine with me.
So did I.
Congrats.
The only reason this game could be fun is because the Saints are going to do some weird shit with Taysom Hill, and this could very well turn into a shootout.
I don't know if Taysom Hill is good enough as a quarterback to make it a shootout, honestly.
And what was Drew Brees doing?
A lot better than Taysom Hill. I mean, Taysom Hill was so bad last week that he was like comparable to a Denver quarterback who hadn't played quarterback in 3 years, who didn't come off the practice squad till 24 hours before the game, who only played 3 years at quarterback at Wake Forest. That's how bad Taysom
known football powerhouse Wake Forest.
Yes, of course.
The backup quarterback at Wake Forest is a guy that you really you think of as an NFL prospect.
That's how bad Taysom Hill was. He has 2 rushing touchdowns each of the last 2 weeks. The first week it was okay. He did against the Falcons. Falcons defense is really bad. Next week against the Broncos, who have at least a solid defense, he got completely shut down. This could be ugly. Honestly, I wouldn't be completely surprised if the Falcons pull it out. Again, they're riding high against after their win against the Raiders. But yeah, this could be ugly. I don't know.
I think the only reason I put this in tier 2 as opposed to tier 3, just because it's a divisional game.
It has some appeal.
It could be fun. You could see
it could be garbage.
Someone goes for 4. You could see like a 40-something, 30-something. Yeah, I think it's possible. I think the Saints could also mop the floor with the Falcons. But let's keep in mind, this is the same Falcons team that just put up 43 against the Raiders. It's not like the Raiders have a good defense by any stretch, but it's not atrocious.
The Saints had like 8 sacks against the Falcons a couple weeks ago. Like that game was ugly.
Yeah.
Let's get to the good game in this tier.
Bill.
I mean, honestly,
it's probably the best game. It's probably the most competitive game in this tier.
Yeah. Bills coming in at 8-3 in San Fran, coming in at 5-6. San Fran played well last week, upset the Rams. Getting some guys back on defense. Richard Sherman's back. The Bills are a good team.
Well, I think the big thing here is you were about 2 weeks premature with the Rams are like a well-coached team that's like not quite there roster-wise. Now
you
they've
mean
got
Rams or the Niners?
Or the Niners. Yeah. Now that the Niners have like most of their starting defense back, or at least most of their guys who aren't like out for not Nick Bosa, obviously the guys who are.
They still don't have their best defender back.
But he was not coming back, obviously. He tore his fucking ACL. I mean, guys who were like out for a few weeks when their Niners were really, really down injury-wise. This is the game where the Bills have got to come out and like impress people. Not like this isn't the BCS. Like if the Bills make the playoffs. It's not a committee. But just in terms of the second floor sports of the world and the people who want to talk about the Bills, you got to beat you got to beat teams that you should beat as the Bills. Yeah. I talked so much about them early in the season about like, okay, the Bills have made the jump from being a bad team to beating bad teams. The Niners aren't a bad team. They've been decimated with injuries. But the thing is with the Niners, is George Kittle playing? First of all, is he back?
I don't think so. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Point being, Kyle Shanahan is so good at scheming up offense. Like he doesn't need superstar talent offensively to make things happen. Having a George Kittle certainly helps.
Absolutely.
But I mean, look at the Niners running game from last year. Preseason, could you have told me who Raheem Mostert was?
Yes, I had him.
Preseason.
Raheem Mostert?
Before you drafted him in fantasy, could you have told me who he was?
I don't think so.
Exactly. And then he came out and was the centerpiece of the Niners rushing attack, which was one of the best in the leagues last year. So my point here, long-winded, obviously,
of course,
is that the Niners could make things difficult for the Bills. But also, if the Bills are really as good as they want to say they are, you can't let this be a trap game.
I'm just thinking about how familiar everything that you just said was and how much shit you gave me a couple of weeks ago when I said it.
Well, yeah, because I was right, though, because then the Niners got stomped because they didn't have anyone.
But I told you they're not a good team. They're just them. For me, like them and the Patriots, I put them in the same category as like not a good team, but you'd rather not play them if you could avoid it.
Okay, but you said that 2 weeks ago when they literally had like nobody on defense when they were starting their like preseason fourth stringers. At least they've got guys that they like wanted to be starting back. They might not have been ideal starters, but like after you take into account opt-outs and injuries, you've got to decide to start somebody. At least the Niners are back to starting like the guys that they planned on starting. It's the same with the Pats. Like after all the opt-outs, Belichick and his coaches got to get together and say like, all right, shit, like here's our roster. Like who do we want to start? You got to start somebody. At least the Niners are back to having most of their planned starters. That's not the ideal team, but this isn't the ideal season.
So do you still think it's harder to get a roster back together for opt-outs or for injuries?
What do you mean? That question makes no sense.
Like we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago that I was like, the Patriots situation with all their opt-outs so close to the start of the season when free agency was basically done was the same thing as the Niners having all their players get injured in week 2, basically. Like, I still think it's the same thing.
I feel like you just can't compare them. Like, it's
still the same thing. And honestly, I'd rather have the opt-outs because at least if injuries, they can come back. Like,
I have no clue what you're saying right now. You've completely lost me.
What do you mean? Just listen to the words coming out of my mouth.
Why would I do that? They're entirely different. Opt-outs versus injuries.
And I'm asking you to compare them. Like I'm comparing what situation you would rather be in. Like
injuries, I guess.
That's all I'm asking for, man.
Like, would you rather get punched in the face or you want me to like hit you over the kneecap with a fucking steel bar? Like what?
I'd rather get punched in the face easily.
I have no clue what you're talking about. I have absolutely no clue where you're coming from.
Just playing a very complex game of would you rather. That's all.
I've played more complex games of Would You Rather. This one just doesn't, like, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just fucking not seeing it here.
I think so. This isn't the first time we've had this this has come up. I was just comparing them.
I just don't think you can compare them.
All right.
Because the thing with the injuries is like, all right, all the opt-outs come preseason. Even if it's close to the season, the opt-outs are still there preseason. Like Bill Belichick decided on his week 1 starters. He said, all right, I'm starting these 11 guys on defense, starting these 11 guys on offense. It wasn't ideal, but like at least he knew that he wasn't going to have those players. And you have to plan for that.
Yes. I bet Bill Belichick was thrilled that he was starting Adrian Phillips.
I'm not saying he was thrilled, but I'm saying it's what I'm not having this conversation anymore.
All right, we'll move on to the next game. Pats at 5-6, Chargers.
Devil. What? Speak of the devil, the Pats.
At 5-6, Chargers at 3-8. You want to talk about a game? I don't know anything like what to make of it. Like,
and the only reason I got, or not the only reason, the main reason I got this in tier 2 is I think Justin Herbert, offensive rookie of the year, against the Bill Belichick coach defense will be exciting. Mm-hmm. Or it could be really ugly if you're a Chargers fan and Herbert gets completely fucking baffled by some whatever.
That's the big thing is the talent's not there as much because of the opt-outs. Not so much the secondary, but
yeah, that's it. Your secondary is still like one of the best in the league. But
the big thing for the Patriots again will be creating, a pass rush against a bad offensive line. Like the Chargers offensive line has not been good. Also you got
to think about now that you got to deal with Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
You can throw either corner. You can throw JC Jackson or Malcolm. What year is it? Wow. JC Jackson or Stephon Gilmore on Keenan Allen. But what do you do with Austin Eckler? I maybe I'm just not up to date on the Pats linebackers, but none of them really strike me as the guy that you want matched up a whole lot with Austin Eckler.
Don't think you really want to throw Josh Uche on him.
Probably not. I mean, what do you like? Legitimately, what do you do if you play zone against Eckler? He'll be open the entire game. You've got to man him up with somebody.
Well, the hard part is like this could be a big like Mike Williams game, just like randomly. Because like he's gonna have one-on-one coverage the whole time. Herbert has a huge arm. Williams is a deep ball threat. Like Gilmore's probably gonna be lined up with Keenan Allen for the majority of the game. Like, what do they do outside of that? Couldn't fucking tell you.
Well, I'm getting a spam risk call from Hampton Bays, New York. Very exciting.
Oh, are you gonna accept it?
Nope.
Oh, damn.
I'm on live right now. I can't accept that. Yeah, any other time I would, obviously.
Last game in the tier, Cowboys at 3-8, Ravens at 6-5. The only exciting thing is I hope the Ravens hang like 65 on the Cowboys.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. If the Ravens are going to find their groove offensively, here's a game to do it. The Cowboys defense is god awful. Oh, excuse me. I got some hiccups right now.
You like cleared your throat, like ironically.
Well, the first one was ironic.
Yeah.
The last two were I was trying not to hiccup on it.
Just burp on it.
Like this is the game. This is the type of game where if the Ravens can come out and like you said, drop 60 on Dallas, which I would love personally.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Maybe they get their groove back. I mean, the Ravens aren't dead. Obviously, the division title is long gone, but they could very well sneak into the 7th seed right now. If you look at the playoff picture, they aren't in the playoffs right now, which is kind of bizarre to think about.
It's hilarious. We talk about how easy their schedule is to end the season.
If they all right, so we've got let's see, they're at 6-5. They're 2 spots outside the playoffs right now. They're tied with the Raiders at 6-5. Then the Colts and Dolphins are 7-4. The Ravens are not by any means out of the playoff picture.
Yeah,
but they've got to win. Realistically, I think they've got to get to 10 wins if you're going to make. I think in general, the AFC, you're going to have to hit 10 wins if you want to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they can't win less than 8.
I mean, the Browns are the number 1 wild card seed right now, and they're 8-3. Yeah. If everything breaks the way quote unquote you think it's going to break, where they. Let's say they win. Let's say they go 3-2 here. Mm-hmm. They beat the Giants, Jets, and maybe one of Titans, Ravens.
11-win Browns team.
That'd be crazy.
Oh god,
11-win Browns team, but they're
still so weird, dude.
unless the Steelers literally lose out, which I don't think they will, the Browns are going to might be a 10-11 win wildcard team, and you're going to have to slot in behind them, which means you're probably going to have to get to 10 wins in the AFC.
You're right.
Good thing the Giants are going to make the playoffs with 6 wins. Fucking shoot me.
Dude, they should just give another NFC team just like the division title.
Yeah.
Just give the Rams that spot, honestly. Deserve it more.
Yeah, and the Rams will probably make the playoffs. They're the 5 seed right now.
I think I vote for this Ravens-Cowboys game. Instead of doing Andy Dalton versus Lamar Jackson, we do Ben DiNucci versus Trace
McSorley. I would love that.
That'd be pretty funny. Did you watch the Steelers-Ravens game?
I had it on. I was doing other stuff. It's so weird.
It's at 4:30 on a Wednesday.
I had class. I was like, what? This is not how I expect to be watching football.
Weird.
It's it's still late out.
I was at work. I didn't watch it.
Weird game. Ravens played like shit, unsurprisingly, but so did the Steelers, to be perfectly fair. 19-14. That's all you could do against the Ravens, against half the Ravens.
Let's also give a shout out to our good friend Nolan, who said, easy money, take the over at 45 or something like that.
Which isn't even that absurd an over, but
I would have taken the over, but I didn't bet, so I'm a genius. Tier 2 minutes left. Let's
Tier 3 here, titled Christ, Who Made This Schedule? And this is how you know it's bad, where I didn't even, when I was putting this rundown together, I didn't even bother to individually type out every one of these games. I just screenshotted the whole goddamn block on the schedule and put it in the rundown.
It works.
And before we get into the individual games, it's 5 consecutive games on the NFL.com schedule. Mm-hmm. We got the 6-5 Raiders at the 0-11 Jets. Should be super fun.
Well, let's just run through these and give a note on each one, because we don't have to talk about something.
Yeah, there's really nothing to talk about. Although knowing you'll want to talk Bengals Dolphins for 20 minutes.
Maybe if Joe Burrow was playing, but
if Joe Burrow was playing, this game probably wouldn't be a tier 3.
Real quick, no Josh Jacobs for the Raiders against the Jets. I still don't think they'll have a problem. They're like a 9-point favorite. I think
they are the worst team in the league. I don't
know if I can even say it by far, because
not by far, but they're the worst team in the league.
The Jags are pretty bad.
The Jets are worse.
Ooh, tired.
Some coffee.
Yeah. Coffee in the kitchen.
You got Jags Vikings. Low-key, the Vikings have picked it up a little bit. They're 4-1 in their last 5. I mean, exciting.
It's a team that came out of nowhere.
Well, and Dalvin Cook started popping the fuck off 3-4 weeks ago, and here we are. The Vikings are, respectable.
And Kirk Cousins has played well the last couple of games. We had to give him credit on the last episode. No Adam Thielen, late scratch.
Thielen's back now too.
Lost Dalvin Cook for a series.
That's how low the bar is. Kirk has to play without Dalvin for I'm on first name basis with both.
Well, they had to come back too. That's the big thing is Kirk Cousins had to come back in a game and lead a game-winning drive, which you don't.
How much do they pay him?
A lot of money,
fully guaranteed, dude. Kirk Cousins' agent must be
too much.
I want Kirk Cousins' agent.
Facts. I also don't make it up. To negotiate my target contract?
I don't know. He'll probably get you a better deal.
Yeah, facts. Bengals and Dolphins. I think Tua's going to start this game.
I heard he was still doubtful.
No? Okay. So I don't know.
I am with Joe Burrow. This would be an awesome matchup. Even if the Bengals.
You said with Joe Burrow. Oh, right. Yeah, with Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Almost Joe Burrow. What you said. Yeah.
Almost like what I was going to say.
Yeah.
With Joe Burrow, this would have been a very exciting matchup. Burrow versus Tua, top 2 quarterbacks taken the most recent
draft. This is definitely the reason they scheduled it.
Well, I think they do the schedule before the draft, but
maybe
they do. Fuck. Maybe if the Dolphins are really this good, the Bengals probably would be taking the L here anyways, even with Burrow. But they're not playing with Joe Burrow. So we've got Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Brandon Allen. 1 p.m. CBS.
Be there or be square.
What's the over-under on possessions shown on red zone of this game?
Oh, good question.
That was straight off the dome.
Wow. Good shit.
Like 3.5. Will there be 3 touchdowns in this game?
Yes. Ooh.
All right, I'm setting it right now. Over under 3.5 touchdowns.
Fuck. I don't know what to take.
Give me an answer. I need an answer.
I'll
5.
go over. I'll go over.
Go over. I'll take the under.
You
want to talk about like a prime like 9-3 game? Like,
I don't know, dude. I think this Bengals defense is really bad. Like, even so for the Dolphins.
And this Dolphins offense is
not good, but like, I think also like the Bengals are so bad. Like, this is a very opportunistic.
I told you we'd talk fucking 20 minutes for Dolphins Bengals. I knew this was gonna be the game we got bogged
Okay,
down.
but at least you did it. You did it though.
No, I just said what's the over under on touchdowns. Then you start getting into like offense and defense and fucking everything. I knew this was gonna be the game we got on. I knew it.
Well, I'm just saying,
I know it.
The Dolphins will probably have a pick 6 in this game, is what I'm
probably
thinking.
Yeah.
Colts Texans should, for as bad of a game as it might be, it could be a good game.
Well, and we've been talking about how Deshaun Watson has picked his playoff the last few weeks. Mm-hmm. He's got the highest QBR in the league since week 5. I only read that today. We've been talking about how he's been playing well. Did not realize he's got the highest quarterback rating in the league. I mean, yeah, this Colts defense is one of the best, if not the best in the league. But this is the type of game where if you're really Deshaun Watson, you show up and ball.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like for a really bad Texans team, Deshaun Watson has not been the problem.
Well, of course, we got to mention with the Texans, lost their top wide receiver and top corner for each taking the same banned substance. Can you say league investigation come the offseason? Bradley Roby.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Holy shit. I completely forgot they lost Will Fuller.
Yeah.
Rough.
Not good. Not good.
They honestly, like, the Colts might like just triple team like whoever the Texans top receiver is.
Probably.
So, who is that?
Brandon Cooks now? Probably.
Yeah. Oh, just completely. Oh.
Maybe this is the week to start Brandon Cooks.
No, I don't think so, man. Very good Colts defense.
And the only exciting thing here is maybe Deshaun Watson has, a crazy Deshaun Watson game, which is not outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah. Last game, Lions at 4-7, Bears at 5-6. For the Lions, their first game without Matt Patricia, finally.
Congratulations, guys. Congratulations.
And the Bears, Mitch Trubisky.
Maybe it'll be like, 2 bad teams and it's like kind of entertaining.
I think this is going to be the classic, like when the Lions were drinking mimosas in the locker room after Patricia got after they finished their first season. Like,
so funny and just so disrespectful.
I'm thinking like this is the classic game. This is like with the Texans where they came out and they won their first game of the season. The game after Bill O'Brien got fired,
obviously,
and they're like, yeah, we fuck with Romeo Crennel. Like, he's a good coach, like well respected in the league. Like, the Lions, I can see them winning this game just because they're like, bro, we finally got rid of Matt Patricia. Like, we gotta like show out and like
another game that I don't expect to be seeing a lot of on Red Zone.
Yeah, me neither.
On to tier 4 here, keeping it the same at what the fuck. I'll start here. Giants 4-7, first place in the NFC East, the New York Giants. Yeah, they're gonna get absolutely smoked by Seattle.
Yeah, that one's gonna be ugly. It's a nice test for your secondary.
Again, if I want to continue my forced optimism with this Giants team, because if they're gonna make the playoffs, if the Giants are going to make the playoffs this year, which you're doing the whole ESPN playoff machine, it kind of looks like that's what's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is too, obviously Daniel Jones not playing. I think with Danny Dimes, maybe this could be close if the Giants defense played out of their mind and Daniel Jones didn't turn the ball over. One huge if Daniel Jones not turning the ball over. I don't think it's that big an if to say the Giants defense could play well. They're a top 10 unit in the league this year, according to Pro Football Focus. The guys.
So you're telling me that a stat is confirming your belief, which means it is correct and reliable.
Yes.
No, I think
But
even
that was
without
good.
Daniel, I think even with Daniel Jones, this is not a close game. But yeah, it is significantly
I
closer.
forget if I was saying this to you on the show earlier this week or if I was saying this to Josh at some point this week. Maybe the Giants are just big braining this. Daniel Jones gets a soft
You
tissue
said big
injury.
brain. You think you said that on the show? No, that's a Josh phrase if I've heard it.
I use big brain all the time. What do you mean?
Okay, continue.
Anyways, maybe the Giants. Let's get tinfoil hat on, like full blown conspiracy theory here. Maybe the Giants are trying to lose games right now and keep Danny Jones out because he's been playing better of late. Again, against 3 terrible teams. But there would have been last year. I wouldn't have trusted Daniel Jones to go 3 games no turnovers.
And they're just like, yeah, we need him to not play so we can just botch all these games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And look, if the Giants defense is good, I'm talking next year now. If the Giants defense continues this trend of like being a top 10 defense in the league, I'm just saying the Bears defense brought Mitch Trubisky to a playoff game. And I think Daniel Jones is better than Mitch Trubisky has ever been. I don't think that's a particularly hot take. It's a low bar. It's a low bar.
There's still just such a gap between that Bears defense and this Giants.
There is, but I'm saying there's also a gap between Mitch Trubisky being, Mitch fucking Trubisky and Daniel Jones, who is a bad quarterback, whereas Mitch Trubisky is god awful. There's a
Turnovers
difference.
are such a finicky thing, though. That was a big thing with that Bears defense too.
Anyways, another block of the schedule that I got to just screenshot and throw in here. Here's all these games.
Well, now that we're getting into the 425 games, a lot better quality.
Oh yeah, the 3-7-1 Eagles at the 8-3 Green Bay Packers.
Jesus, man.
Disaster.
I think the Packers are just gonna throw the shit out of the ball all over the.
That's fine by me. That's fine by me.
This is gonna be like a 42 to 14 game, and then Carson Wentz is gonna look really bad, and everyone's gonna be like, "Yeah, I think it's finally time."
Everyone except like the front office in Philly.
Like Jalen Hurts has to get a chance at some point.
They got it
right.
Like remember last week there was all that news about Jalen Hurts getting like more reps with the first team.
That was overblown though. Yeah, I mean,
I know it was news.
Yeah.
You know how many snaps he got last week?
Like 4, 5.
Cut that in half.
What,
2.
5 or 4?
2. He got 2 snaps.
Oh no, technically he had 3 snaps. One of them was on a penalty.
Sorry. He had 3 snaps.
He completed a pass, and then they're like, we're putting Carson back in, and then he got sacked on third.
He got like what I say this every week we talk about the Eagles. This will be our last point on this game. What does Carson Wentz have on the Eagles front office? What does he have on Doug Peterson?
Got something.
Got lots of something because he does not deserve to keep his job. It's
what the problem is,
blatantly obvious that he doesn't deserve it. He's not a starting quarterback.
You know what the problem is? Like they need to find a good quarterback behind him. And like that's why they need to just try Jalen Hurts, because like the thing with Carson Wentz is I saw a graphic on Wentz and like what his contract looks like and what the cap hit is if they release him. And like they pay more money if they release him, and it's like by a wide margin. So like they need to keep him on the roster.
But you don't have to start like he's taken up a boatload of cap space either way. Like, okay,
that's why like you might as well see what you have in Jalen Hurts.
And the thing that kind of frustrates me too is like not frustrates me. I love watching the Eagles be fucking stupid,
implode time and time again.
Like Jalen Hurts spent his last year with Lincoln Riley in Nebraska, and Lincoln Riley the last 2 years has been brought up as like a guy to make the jump from college to the NFL. Like clearly NFL teams think he's running something like vaguely similar to
he was going to come like coach the Eagles.
No, I'm just saying my point here is like, yes, it's the Big 12 and offense is kind of, or defense is, not even like expected of you if you're playing in the Big 12. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback and played for a head coach that's been getting noise to make the jump to the NFL. Like, why? It's not like Jalen Hurts is coming from some like weird gimmicky college offense.
Yeah, fair.
You drafted him in the second round. Give him a fucking shot. All right, I'm done talking about the Eagles.
It's almost like it didn't make sense to draft him, first of all. It just didn't make last point on it. It made no it made no sense. And like, what did you gain from having Hurts play like 2 snaps? If he was going to play in the game, you might as well have him play like 15, 20 snaps, a little more.
And like they've got him. You might as well at this point. Especially after you presumably maybe not this week, presuming the Eagles get stomped by Green Bay. You're 3-8-1. And the Giants are also gonna be like 3-8 or 4-8. Well, it'll still be close. Who fucking? It's the NFC East, bro. Who knows?
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football. Nice. Broncos 4-7 at the Chiefs 10-1. Spoiler alert: both of our number one teams in the power ranking here, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Spoiler alert: the Chiefs are very good. The Broncos are not good.
At least they got a quarterback now. At least the Broncos have a quarterback. I got nothing else there.
I started reading an article. I didn't get too far into it.
Too many words.
Like 6 or 7 words. What the Bills are doing with Jake Fromm is so interesting. That for those of you who don't know, he was drafted in the 5th round. Very good at Georgia for 4 years or 8 years. Just one of those guys that is there for so long that you think you're like, bro, how long have you been?
A Perry Ellis type.
Yes.
I'm not going to explain that. If you get that reference, thank you.
What they're doing with Fromm is that they're having him practice apart from everyone else.
Frank brings up a great point here. That's funny.
Yes, I did do the Monday Night Football. I was really hoping no one did. I did it, and I was like, fuck, that's ESPN. What they're doing with Fromm is that they're having him practice separate from the entire team.
To avoid this exact scenario.
Exactly what the Broncos went through. I think it's hilarious. I also think it's very smart.
Yeah.
As we would say, big brained.
Not Galaxy Brain, though. Galaxy Brain's a whole different level.
Yeah, no. This next game is Galaxy Brain. Steelers and Washington football team.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it?
Because it's going to be a very ugly game, is what I'm saying. Like,
okay.
You're not.
Galaxy Brain was like putting.
I'll explain.
Galaxy Brain was putting Dallas Philly on Sunday Night Football because you knew both teams, because the league clearly knew both teams were going to make a complete shit show of the game, and it was just going to be like incredibly entertaining to watch.
The league needs to just be able to flex games like an hour before. Like, actually, no, you're not going to play now. You're just going to like play it in like 2 days or something, like on Wednesday at 4:30 p.m.
Sure.
4-7 football team, 11-0 Steelers. My prediction for this game is that Big Ben will look really bad against a good passing defense for Washington, but Washington's offense is very bad. And the Steelers.
I'll take another 3 touchdown performance for Mr. Antonio Gibson, though.
I don't know. I think the Steelers are going to be up like 28-0 at the end of the first quarter, and
so maybe a JD McKissick game.
Oh, JD McKissick, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what Washington's game flow is. Let's get to some of our bets. We both have Colts -3.5 against Houston.
I put it in first. Come on.
Okay, it's still like that's easy money right there.
I mean, yeah.
It's also a division game, so this could be a weird one.
I got the Packers -8.5 against the Eagles. That also.
You really think they're just going to curb stomp them?
I think they win by 10 at least.
Yeah, fair. No, I can see that.
Were you not the one who said it was going to be like 45, 12, 13 or something?
I am the one that said that. Yeah,
that's more than 8.5.
What would you be saying on the show right now if I had put the same bets as you, like the first 2?
I would be very unamused.
Yeah. I have Buffalo +1. I try to like
remarkably close.
I try to not like put like +1s on here just because it kind of is a pick 'em at that point. Yeah. But it's not a pick 'em because the Patriots Chargers game, for example, is a pick 'em.
It's a pick 'em. I saw that.
Yeah. The Niners being favored by 1, again at home, it's weird. Don't understand.
Doesn't make like any. That's why I wanted to stay away from that. I'm like, what does Vegas know that we don't know?
I don't. Yeah.
It's got to be something.
Pittsburgh minus. Yeah. You go. Sorry.
I've got the Browns +5.5 versus the Titans. I think this will be an incredibly close game. I think it'll low
even
scoring.
Without Denzel Ward.
Well, because even if the Titans' offense is like rolling, that means Derrick Henry's getting 30 touches and AJ Brown takes like a 3-yard drag route 70 yards to the house, and the 21-9 final. Like not. I guess if it was a 21-9 final, my bet would.
Yeah, what? Like you were completely this.
I just pulled that number out of my head. I was like, wait, that doesn't work. I didn't say that. 21-17. That's what I said. 21-17 Titans.
Recap what Ben just said. He is betting. We only have 3 bets in the week, and he is betting that the Browns either win this game or don't lose by more than 6, by at least 6.
Hey, we always lock our bets in on Sunday. Maybe I'll find an alternate line here.
I can't believe you're just like, yeah, Derrick Henry is going to be rolling, and AJ Brown will take a touchdown 70 yards. And at that point, I was like, wait, what is he saying? And you're like, yeah, and it'll be 21-9.
It'll be 21-9, and then Nick Chubb will actually take the 70-yard meaningless touchdown in this time. There you go. There you go. That's what I said. That's what I said. Yeah, I will not be timestamping this part in the podcast. You can rest assured.
Oh, Jesus. Power rankings, it's chalk the first 4 for us. Chiefs, Steelers, Packers, Saints.
I mean, kind of no way. I guess if you really wanted to flip the Saints and the Packers, I guess you could. That's kind of
if Drew Brees was healthy, and I actually got to see the team playing.
That's exactly what I came back to. A, if Drew Brees was healthy, and B, like I can't take any stock in the Broncos game. Like they beat literally a high school JV team. They beat a high school quarterback. Like, congrats, guys.
Yeah.
I think you beat them 31-3. You smoked them the way you should, but like you're not putting any stock in that.
The 5th team is still kind of just up in the air. I have the Titans. You have the Seahawks.
I spent a lot longer than I'd like to admit trying to figure out who I thought the 5th team was.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been Seattle. Could have been Tennessee. I guess
could
you could make
Indy.
a case for Buffalo. I don't know if I'd put Buffalo ahead of Indy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just got to be Seattle. I think they're the roster-wise are the best team out of those 3. And so I kind of lean Seattle. I lean Russ. Could be anyone.
I try not to go like best roster for power rankings, just like who is the best.
I had to split a tie. I had to split the difference somehow in my head, and I
kind of just went with quality of wins for the Titans at least.
Yeah. Let's talk a little NBA before we wrap up. How about it? I came up with the name for this trade while I was writing the rundown. I'm pretty happy with it personally. I'm calling it the Great Mirror Trade because realistically, nothing much changes for either of these teams.
I don't know if I completely agree, but it's funny, so I'm going to let you keep going.
Sweet. John Wall for Russell Westbrook. Like that is one of the most 2K trades.
That's not it. That's not
Sorry,
it.
John Wall and a first, a heavily protected first for Russell Westbrook. All right. Did I get it now?
Yeah, you got it now.
All right, cool. Thanks. I still can't wrap my head around this one. Like what the thing that I keep coming back to is what statistically, I feel like this doesn't change a goddamn thing for either of these teams. Like maybe because apparently Harden expressed desire to play with John Wall over Russ.
Yeah. I don't buy too much into that.
And this is apparently allegedly, NBA Twitter hearsay for life.
No, I mean I got a Bleacher Report notification about it.
Did you? I don't think I even saw that.
The reason I'm not buying into that much is because think about this. You're the Rockets and you're going to run this trade by James Harden. Like you run a trade by your superstar. And James Harden says, yes, I'd rather play with John Wall than Russell Westbrook. And they're like, okay, word, we're going to make the trade. That's literally what I imagine that is. Like,
do you think James Harden has that type of decision-making power?
No, but all I'm saying is if they were like, James, do you approve of this trade? And he says, yes, I approve of this trade. He's saying I'd rather play with John Wall than Russell Westbrook. That's literally it. Like,
I mean, all right, you put something in the rundown that you left a little cliffhanger for me. I said, what in the fuck does this accomplish? Matias responds on the rundown. One big thing I can think of, I'll tell you on the show. Well, here we are on the show. It's 4:29 p.m. on Friday, December 4th, the year 2020. Talk to me.
Not a goddamn thing.
Nice.
But I mean, look, it's really funny to
I knew it was going to be I was like, what on earth is this kid going to like drop on me that I couldn't like reasonably put together myself?
I think it's really funny to call it the Great Mirror Trade. This does accomplish something for each team, but not something huge.
No.
Let's run through.
First of all, my one point here, if I'm Bradley Beal, I'm fucking tight. I'm so mad.
I'm not actually.
I'm furious.
I am not mad if I'm Bradley.
I don't think any superstar in the league should want to play with Russ.
I don't think any superstar should want to play with John Wall either. Like,
well, all right, get into it.
Let's run through things for both sides, right? Let's run through the situation that each team is in first, right? We both think that James Harden is gone.
Yes.
So
I thought you were less convinced than I was, though.
I am less convinced, but I think at this point it's delaying the inevitable. I don't think they should trade him, but I think they probably will. Like, James Harden won't re-sign with them.
No, he definitely not re-signing.
They'll trade him before he goes somewhere else. What this does for each team, if there is more to buy into that Harden wanted to play more with Wall, then that's significant. John Wall's catch and shoot numbers. John Wall is not a great 3-point shooter, but he is a better 3-point shooter than Russell Westbrook. At least the last time we saw him on the court,
that's the huge caveat. I mean, literally, we'll get there. We got the basketball reference stuff in here. We're talking about John Wall's.
We'll get there.
Okay.
We're talking about his 2016, 2017 season.
Oh, we'll get there. Just steal my thunder.
I didn't think. Thunder. No, I thought you were going to start talking about his stats and compare them. Oh, yeah.
No, I was going to. Okay.
As Ben
we're talking about his 2016, 2017 season here.
As Ben wanted to say, yes, the last time John Wall played more than 50 games was in 2016, 2017. That season, from three, he shot 33%. Russell Westbrook last season shot 26%.
Seeing that number actually in front of my face, like, obviously we know Russ is a terrible shooter. 26% is abysmal.
Now, there is a difference in there. If you go into their advanced numbers, that off the catch and shoot, Wall shot 38% from three on catch and shoot in his career, and Westbrook is a sub 30 shooter.
Yeah.
Now, if you're the Wizard, like, we have to just put ourselves in shoes of, like, if you're the Wizards, why do you do this, right? You want to keep Bradley Beal. The best way to keep Bradley Beal is to win basketball games. And it's not like they completely leverage their future, because they have a lot of good young players.
They didn't leverage their future. This is
at all.
I like this trade. The thing is, as much as we can clown this trade, I don't think it's a bad trade either way. I just think it's kind of like, why?
Fair. But Westbrook is a lot more explosive on the ball than John Wall is at this point. John Wall is coming off a torn ACL and a torn Achilles. He's going to be 31 in September.
Hasn't played in 2 full seasons.
Has not played more than 50 games since 2016, 2017.
AKA our freshman year of college.
Yes. Now, you have Bradley Beal. Is the reason he was fantastic when John Wall was still on that freshman year of college.
Yeah. That was 4 years ago.
Oh God. The reason Bradley Beal was still very good when John Wall was on that team is because Bradley Beal is a very good shooter and can play off the ball.
It's almost like Bradley Beal is a really good NBA player.
But Bradley Beal is now a significantly better player. He's an all-NBA player. He needs to have the ball in his hands. That's the best version of the Wizards. Russell Westbrook is
That's why I'm tight as fuck if I'm Bradley Beal, because you're bringing in the most ball-dominant guy in the league.
But Russell Westbrook did play better towards the end of last season before the bubble. He was adapting to his role a lot better. And look, I mean, Russell Westbrook might not be a great player to fit into a system and may not be, the best player on a championship team.
I'll take might away from that sentence. He's not an easy player to fit into a system that's not give Russell Westbrook the ball.
I mean, but let's not act like John Wall is the same caliber of player as Russell Westbrook is. Russell Westbrook is still a good basketball player.
And we've been over countless times how I feel about Russell Westbrook in today's NBA.
Yes, but Russell Westbrook is still a good basketball player. He is still significantly better than John Wall, considering we have no idea what the fuck we're going to see from John Wall. John Wall might come back and can't average more. But
by the same token, we know exactly what we're getting out of Russell Westbrook.
I'd rather have Westbrook than John Wall.
No shot.
Oh Man.
I think I'm talking about if you're the Rockets, John Wall has always been, a ball dominant guard, but I think now that he's lost some of that, presumably he's lost some of that explosiveness. You don't need to be Dr. Dravanos to figure that one out. I think he fits a lot cleaner next to James Harden than Russell Westbrook ever did. Taking a Russell Westbrook percentage of shots away from James Harden, if you're the Rockets, is dumb. Like, why would you want to bring in a guy? Like, I'm talking about when the Rockets first traded for James Harden, for Russell Westbrook. Mm-hmm. It never made a lick of sense to me, because why would you want to bring in a guy that's going to demand what was Westbrook's usage last year? Where was it? 34% sharing the court with James Harden.
As compared to John Wall, the last year he played fully was 30%.
But I'm saying I've got to imagine
that's not a crazy difference.
Not a crazy difference, but I've got to imagine John Wall's usage now, and he's less explosive and is obviously not going to be playing in the same ball dominant role he was asked to play in Washington. Mm-hmm. I think his usage percentage is going to go down, and John Wall has always been one of the better passers, one of the better playmakers in the NBA. And even without the explosiveness, that was always a big part of his game, was his ability to run an offense.
I think you're just underestimating the fact that there's more to being an off-ball offensive threat than being able to shoot. Oh, that is a big thing.
Yes.
But a lot of it is cutting too. And that was a big criticism on the Rockets, was that, James Harden would give the ball up.
And the word cutting appeared anywhere in the Rockets offensive playbook?
But you know who it appeared for less than the Rockets? John Wall. His last season, 2017, 2018, when he played 41 games.
Yeah.
Would you like to know how many off-ball cuts for a basket he had?
Like 7.
1. One in 41 fucking games. That is absurd.
Yeah.
You're asking someone who does not play off ball to play off ball.
Okay, but what do you think the Rockets offense is going to look like this year?
I'd rather have Russell Westbrook in that role than John Wall.
I would rather have John Wall. Westbrook does not equate to winning NBA championships. We
also have to remember, right? Westbrook, it's John Wall and a first, which means that the Wizards gave up more to get Westbrook.
Right? Heavily protected first.
Okay, but they still gave up a first round.
They gave up a first, but it's not going to convey into the fucking first overall pick. No. It's top 20 protected, I believe I saw in 2023.
Okay, but that eventually could turn into, I don't know, a lottery pick, the 20th overall,
top 20 protected.
Okay, but if a lot of these protections the next year, it's protected less and less, is what I'm saying.
Okay, if it turns into a fucking 2027 lottery pick, then so be it. That's a risk you take.
Yeah, you can still get quality players at 20 too. Let me tell you.
Speaking as a Knicks fan, I don't think you can.
No, you're just bad at drafting. There's a
big difference. Said, speaking as a Knicks fan, I don't think you can get quality players outside the top 3.
Look, I mean, I think just at the end of the day, it's the Wizards wanted to get, they have John Wall. They don't think he's going to be able to do that much. They want to get a better player. They upgraded from John Wall to Russell Westbrook. By how much and what was the cost? We can again say, hey, at least let me finish this. Let me finish what I'm saying. At what cost? We can debate that all day. But the Wizards upgraded from John Wall to Russell Westbrook. Now, what if you're saying if you're Bradley Beal, you're tight, right?
Yeah. And
fair. What if Bradley Beal is like, yo, I still believe in Russell Westbrook. I want to play with Russell Westbrook. I think it can be good. And Russell Westbrook is buying into that, because let's not forget too, as much as we love to bash Russell Westbrook and all that, he got COVID and he had a calf injury, right?
Yeah.
In the bubble. What if Bradley Beal wanted to play with him more than John Wall?
If Bradley Beal wanted to play with him, then Bradley Beal wanted to play with him. I could not understand for the life of me why any superstar would want to play with Russell. Any guard superstar would want to play with Russ is beyond me. Mm-hmm. The dude can't shoot and is going to take up 35% of your possessions.
Okay, John Wall also can't shoot and will probably take up near that amount of time too.
I'm not saying John Wall is good.
I still think.
But what does Westbrook
better.
change? What does Westbrook change for the Wizards' playoff chances this year? What are they, a 6 seed? And the East isn't great this year, but what?
There might be a 6 seed. Could
great,
be.
Great.
I mean, this for the Wizards. This is okay. We're in dire need of we need a good pitch.
Westbrook's a stat pad. He's the best stat padder in NBA history. Oh, and he deserves congrats. You are the best stat padder the league has ever seen. It's impressive.
All I'm saying, if you're the Wizards, you need to keep Bradley Beal. You need to make moves to keep him. You didn't give up that much of your future. You have all your young players still. This is at this point, they're just being all right, fuck it. Let's just see what we got here.
I don't think this works out for either team.
I don't think so either. What it does work out for are some hilarious ass fucking memes.
Yes.
I wrote down 3 here. The Houston strip club scene, which is that industry is just going to explode with John Wall and James Harden there. I think it's fucking hilarious.
Well, James Harden might be gone, but
true. John Wall getting paid to wear red.
I know he's happy about that. Leave it at that.
If you get it, you get it. That's all. Also, that was a big thing too. Apparently, the Wizards were absolutely furious about video still coming out of him just fucking throwing up gang signs and shit.
Not great.
Which has been a problem for him in the past. And then the last one being Spider-Man pointing.
Just good. It's just good stuff.
Hilarious. You got anything else on this trade besides the fact that you hate it?
Again, it's not that I hate the trade. It's it's literally
you hate that it exists.
It's just why?
Yeah.
Literally why? I don't think it moves the needle for either team in any meaningful way. Unless it keeps James Harden around. That's the best way this trade works for Houston, is that it keeps Harden around.
Harden's oh shit, they finally got John Wall.
By the same token, would you rather have James Harden who's going to run into the same problems he's always fucking run into in Houston? Or would you rather have, the Nets' 7 best players not named KD and Kyrie?
I just don't. You don't get a grandfather offer. You don't trade away a top 10 player in the league, a top 5 player.
Well, they'd be getting if the Rockets are moving James Harden, it means they got literally the Nets' whole fucking roster beyond Kevin Durant and Kyrie.
But I don't think that's good enough for me.
I think it is. If you want to talk about, if you're gonna flip a superstar, literally a top 5 player in the league, you're gonna be getting a haul, and the Nets have a good team.
I mean, look. Think about what
got Christian Wood too, which we haven't even talked about. I think is one of the, depending on what the Rockets do with James Harden, one of the sneaky best signings of the offseason.
Think about what
Wood turns his per 36s into real production,
into actual minutes. Think about what the Pelicans got for AD, for example. You got Lonzo, they got Josh Hart, they got BI.
Totally different scenario though, because the Lakers were just violently tampering, and AD didn't want to be there in the slightest.
Okay, so if anything, it might be that they're.
No one has ever tampered harder than the Lakers tampered with Anthony Davis. That is when the league, adjusts their tampering rules. That's got to be example number 1 of what you need to
avoid. Fair, but you're also forgetting that if the report is true, then James Harden did say, "Trade me to the Nets." That's
different than tampering.
It's not. I'm just saying in terms of leverage.
Harden's allowed to say that. If AD wanted to come out on the record and say trade me to the Lakers, that's a trade request.
I'm just saying.
Magic Johnson went on the fucking Tonight Show and was like, "We're going to trade for Anthony Davis on national TV."
I'm saying leverage wise, it's not that different.
Yeah,
that's all. All right, let's move on to a little bit more news. We'll get the non-important shit out of the way first. The schedule's coming out in bits and pieces right now. Tip off on the 23rd, I believe. Yep. Christmas Day schedule. It's a pretty good schedule.
Pelicans Heat. You knew it was going to be Heat.
Yeah.
Heat schedule, not necessarily the Heat playing, but you also probably could have guessed that the Heat would be playing.
Pelicans Heat. Warriors Bucks, Nets Celtics, Mavs Lakers, Clippers Nuggets. What's your favorite game there?
Assuming Harden goes to the Nets, Nets Celtics. I'm serious.
Assume he doesn't go to the Nets.
I mean, arguably still Nets Celtics. Mavs Lakers. LeBron Luca, I think, is just
that's the
juicy
passing.
matchup.
Yeah, that's literally just the passing of the throne.
Yeah, really. What do you mean
Yeah,
by that? You want to unpack that one?
I said that, and then I was like,
Do you want to unpack that statement? What do you mean?
I'm saying Luka and Giannis are going to be fighting for the future of the league.
You mean it's not going to be Obi Toppin?
No, OBB Toppin.
It's OB Toppin. It's not OBB Toppin.
OBB Toppin.
It's OB Toppin, bro. I'm telling you.
OBB Toppin. Are you going to get a Toppin jersey, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Knicks jersey with Toppin on the back? Are you fucking
you're
kidding?
Finally going to have a Knicks jersey, Ben?
First Knicks jersey I will have had since my He Should Not Be Named jersey.
Is that Kristaps Porzingis?
Who's that?
Yeah, I knew it was.
Yeah. You also have seen me wear it, so.
Yeah. The important news. No marijuana testing again this year. It is for non-obvious cases. Like if they have a reason to, they will.
If there's a video of you like smoking a blunt on the team playing,
or Laramie Tunsil just
with the gas mask. Well, did you see also today, real world news? The House passed the motion to decriminalize marijuana federally.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah,
that would be lit as hell.
It really, every time I see it, it blows my mind that literally the U.S. government has, on like their like controlled substance list, they have weed and heroin in the same list, like in the same category.
Well, I mean, as someone who has smoked both, that's obviously the same thing. I just love smoking H, man.
That's getting timestamped. Did you really just say that?
Yeah, I guess so. I've never smoked heroin before.
Yeah. Interesting way to take that one.
Let's wrap the show with our Spotify Wrapped.
Oh yeah.
You have yours up? Mine's
a little weird because my top artist this year was none other than Lil Uzi Vert.
Really?
And I think what that comes down to is I spent a lot of time on Aux during our spring break.
Oh,
in which we exclusively listened to the new Lil Uzi album. And I think that, hey, I like Lil Uzi. Like, I'm not going to hide that. I don't know if I like actively made him my top artist. I think the amount of time I spent just like connecting to Jake Smith's speaker at the house in Florida and putting on that album and like not touching my phone probably contributed a lot to that, because he's nowhere.
That's so annoying.
He's nowhere in my top songs, or at least not in my top 10. Which kind of makes me think that it's a little messed up.
That sucks. Like I had that problem like 3 years ago before I discovered that you can like set an alarm on your phone to like stop playing music. I would go to sleep to music.
Yeah.
So like my top artist was like Tampa Beats, and I had listened to like 150,000 minutes of hours of music, and I was like, Jesus Christ! Like I definitely didn't listen to that much music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a bunch of like, there's this one playlist that was like, I forget, it's like some weird like sleep playlist on Spotify, but it's like, because they're technically songs, they count in my top songs. So like literally my 5th most played song is Andromeda by Zoe Handfield. If you want to look it up, it's literally just like noises to help you fall asleep.
Zoe Handfield.
It's really annoying.
Yeah, it sucks.
I got no idea the DJ Pertberry Chopped and Screwed remix. That's my 4th most played song. That made a lot of sense.
Yeah, that one's fair.
I bunked that one aggressively. What do you got? Who are your top artists?
My top artists are Freddie Gibbs at 1.
Yep.
Madlib at 2, which makes sense because all the albums, they were just on together. Mr. Anderson .Paak at 3. Mac Miller at 4. And MF Doom at 5, because it's 2020, so obviously MF Doom. Obviously, MF Doom should be in the. No, I had listened to MF Doom a little bit when I was younger, but I remember not really liking him. And then earlier this year, I really went back on a kicker, and I was like, "Yo, what? Like, why was I not?"
MF Doom's sick.
Yeah, I was like, "Wow, this is quite good."
Yes.
Yeah, I had 3 songs. I had 3 songs from Circles on my top 5 songs.
Which 3?
It was Hand Me Downs was 1. Woods was 2, and
Woods
Blue
was good.
World was 4. I was surprised that Blue World made it on there, honestly.
Blue World might be my favorite song off that album.
I really like it.
I'd have to like go back and like really listen to it. But I really like Blue World.
I was just a little surprised, and like some of the songs that came in at like 6, 7, and 8 for me, like were right there, and I honestly thought I had played those more than Blue World. But it's just really
it's so
funny.
annoying that with the fucking like these playlists I used to play to go to sleep, because like now I have a podcast I listen to go to sleep, and so that goes into a separate category.
Well, so are you like, how many minutes did you listen to music?
I think it was like 60K.
Okay, so it didn't affect it that much.
No, because the minutes were still fine.
Okay, so you just listen to music the whole time while you're sleeping? No, right?
I normally put on like half the time I can't fall asleep for shit, so I wouldn't even put the timer on. I'm trying to see if I can find like the playlist that I would listen to fall asleep. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it now. Yeah, I'm not gonna look for it now. That's not good content right there.
Cool. Is you just in your screen just like
it's nothing special.
I'm assuming that like your top songs from 2020, like the order it's listed in is the order of plays, because
I would assume so. Yeah. Yeah. Because I know like, my top song is. Remember the song? Remember when Jake Dow did that backflip into the pool in Florida?
What?
Oh, you might have been with Michelle actually.
That goes there. What? Excuse me.
He did a backflip into the pool, and it was like a running, like spinning backflip. It was really sick.
That's pretty cool.
It was like, I don't know. There was a song playing at the time, and I kind of got obsessed with the song for a little bit. Nothing by Mode Step and Virtual Riot. If you want to check it out, it's what our good friend Stratton would call pots and pans.
Pots and pans music, yeah.
My second most played song was also Pots and Pans, Want You Alone by Axel Boy. Then Axel Boy. Ooh. You've definitely heard it. You've heard it. You've definitely heard it, yeah.
Okay, Pots and Pans.
Third is Stranger by Can't Swim. That's kind of like a punk rock song I really liked. Then it's No Idea, and then Andromeda by Zoe Hanfield. But it's really annoying. It goes from No Idea, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these like random fucking like fall asleep songs.
Brutal.
Yeah. Brutal. And then it gets into like some other stuff. Like what else I got in here? I have a lot of these. God damn it. Yeah, I got like Had Enough in there. PETA by Roddy Ricch. I was really obsessed with that
you were like, bro, have you listened to Roddy Ricch album? Put on PETA. I was like, dude, I literally have listened to the album. I promise you. You're like, dude, PETA's so good.
Devil Is a Lie is on there. That made me happy.
Oh, good shit. Well, I would always. Oh no, that was Jake Dow's phone. Every pregame without fail, I'd be like, Jake, put on Devil Is a Lie. He's like, okay.
Okay.
I'm looking at my.
We got mailbag. Or were you gonna keep going with your rap?
I was just looking at the rest of my top 10. More MF Doom, more Mac Miller, more Freddie Gibbs. The Game and 50 Cent made it on there.
Interesting.
Hate it or love it. That might be one of my favorite songs of all time. Honestly, it's just that is just a perfect song. And then it ends with Out West.
Nice.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Huge TikTok guy.
Oh God. Don't say that shit to me. Jesus Christ. All right, yeah, let's go through our mailbag.
We got one whole question.
Who beats the Steelers, Ben? Washington.
We've been talking about this last like 2-3 weeks, probably.
So let's cut out the football team, Cincinnati and Cleveland. Buffalo or Indy? Who beats them? One of them has to beat them. Who is it? Just say one of them has to beat them.
Yeah. Give me Buffalo if for no other reason than they're at Buffalo and at home versus the Colts.
I'm looking at Buffalo too.
And I don't think the Colts offense would like. I think the game that the Steelers end up losing would be more likely to be a shootout than a defensive battle.
Absolutely.
And I think the Bills are a lot better equipped to keep pace with them. It'd be a big game for Josh Allen if it were to happen. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think it's very possible the Steelers go 16-0.
It's possible. I can't wait for them to lose in the divisional round, like after they do.
Would you rather them lose in the divisional round, or would you rather them lose in the Super Bowl?
Would I rather them lose in the Super Bowl?
Yes. Assuming you're rooting against the Steelers here.
I'd rather them lose in the Super Bowl.
Because so you can experience it?
Yeah. Well, for
from
a
the
couple,
other side.
yeah,
Like, you didn't even fucking watch the '07 Super Bowl, you snake.
I didn't watch it.
Weren't you not even a fan yet?
When the fuck did I say that?
I thought you weren't a Pats fan until like
Oh.
2010 or something.
No, I was at my cousin's house. I remember it. Like, I for a couple of reasons. The only reason I wouldn't want it is because I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a team go 16-0 in the regular season, then go undefeated, like go 20-0. I'd love to 19-0. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a team actually go 19-0. Like that's sick.
That would be nuts.
Yeah.
Also, I would love to have the Giants be the only team to beat an undefeated team in the Super Bowl. I would love to keep that distinction for forever.
Just like because like not special after.
I mean, it's still remote. It's not that it's not special, but I would love for it to be like, in NFL history, the only team to ever beat an 18-0 team in the Super Bowl is none other than the New York Giants. And Eli Manning, in case we forgot.
It would be wild, like if the Steelers just lose in the Super Bowl this year. Like,
make us all right. Last point of the show. This is completely off script. Who's in the Super Bowl this year?
I was thinking who would be the worst team for them to lose to the Super Bowl.
The worst. All right. Well, we can answer both. For them it's our own show. We can answer both questions.
Yeah.
The worst team, or what's like the nightmare scenario?
Like what would be the most brutal for them to lose in the Super Bowl?
The Giants. Fuck it. There it is. The Giants do it again. Giants do it again. They're the only team to do it fucking twice. That's we're not doing anything else in the show. That's it. That's literally it.
Stop that.
I was looking at the playoff. Bro, you say playoff teams, and I don't even think Giants. I literally don't even think of the Giants as a playoff team.
That's so bad.
And then I'm looking through the playoff picture, and I'm like, yep. Like AFC, like Saints, Packers, Seahawks. Like, who's that team in fourth? I don't know.
Be serious. Be serious now.
Okay. In all seriousness, if the Giants somehow got to the Super Bowl and beat another undefeated team, that would be like the most absurd shit I've ever seen in my life.
And like at least that Giants team was good. Like they had
we had 2 Hall of Famers on that team.
Yeah. I can't think. The same way you don't think of the Giants as a playoff team, I don't think of Eli Manning as a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer.
I know he is. And like the Giants right now are a playoff team. But
but Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck should probably. I don't know if Tuck will be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. He'll be like a Giants Hall of Famer. He'll be a Giants
Ring of Honor. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That Giants team was good.
Yeah. No, like this is a bad Giants team. Like that would
Speaking of the 07 Giants, you hear the new Corday song, Parables?
No.
Go listen to it. There's a Plaxico Burress shooting himself in the leg reference.
Fuck yeah.
So funny.
That's not even like a Giants thing, because that is just so
it is
absurd.
A Giants thing.
Like, yes, but that is just so. That's like saying like Aaron Hernandez is a Patriots thing.
Okay, but
that is just like a thing. Like,
but it's so like hyper specific, because it's not like a story. No one did a fucking Netflix doc about Plax shooting himself in the leg. Aaron Hernandez
Plaxico didn't murder like 7 people.
That's what I'm saying. So it was never.
But he still shot himself in the fucking foot.
It was never a national story though. It was the leg. It was his thigh, because the gun was in his pocket with the safety off. Trust me, I know.
He was in a club, right?
Going into a club.
He didn't even make it in
because he shot himself in the fucking leg. It was looking like a Monday. It was like, I think it was this past Monday. I was like on my phone, just kind of going, looking at like any new releases I missed on Spotify before I got out of bed, and I was like, oh, not YBN Corday, Corday.
Oh yeah, no Corday. I thought maybe
YBN broke down. YBN's like dissolved, or maybe I don't know if they dissolved if Corday like left the group.
I did listen to that song. It came out last week. I did listen to it. I didn't catch the Plaxico reference.
It's pretty funny.
That's funny.
But all right, to give an actual answer to who would be the worst team for the Steelers to lose to, because realistically the Giants probably aren't going to make it to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Karma-wise, the Cardinals would be hysterical. That would be really funny. A little full circle action.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. I don't know. And who do you think is going to be in the Super Bowl? Like, serious?
Chiefs. And
Wow. So you got the easy one out of the way first.
Well, yeah, you asked.
I did.
Strat says Packers Steelers. I think it'll be Chiefs Packers. Two most physically gifted quarterbacks to ever be in the league in the Super Bowl together would be pretty fucking cool.
Physically gifted?
Most talented, physically gifted. Like, was that mantle was Rodgers for the longest time, and now it's Mahomes. Yeah, is that really a point? Are we really going to argue that?
Yeah, I thought you were still talking about Packers Steelers, and I was like, Big Ben, like,
yeah.
That's why I was just like, what the fuck? Let's see. Worst team for the Steelers to lose to. Oh, this is a no-brainer for me. The Bucks.
Oh.
You imagine Big Ben losing to fucking Tom Brady in the Super Bowl with a different team? That would be the funniest shit ever.
The Bucks aren't making the Super Bowl.
I don't think they are either, but like,
the scary thing is if once you get Brady in the playoffs, like who knows?
Yeah, it's a wrap. Like anything could happen.
Well, hey,
that would be so fucking.
Hold on,
funny,
what are the odds? I hope the Bucks get the 5 seed.
Why?
Then the Bucks will play the Giants first round.
That would be funny.
That would be electric.
Oh,
that would be fun. That would be. That's the only way I can turn this year. I guess the playoff game wouldn't be in 2020. It'd be in 2021. Talk about a start to the year. The Giants beating Brady in the playoffs again.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
I still root like once the playoffs start and the Patriots are inevitably not in it. Like I'll be rooting for the Bucks.
Oh
no, no question. I still want Brady to succeed. Like,
see, yeah, I come back to the same thing where it's like I root against the Bucks because I don't want to see Brady succeed.
Okay, like there you go.
Strat, you missed. I'm talking to Strat now in the comments. If the Giants are going to make the playoffs, I'm going to try to be optimistic about it. And I think the Giants, unfortunately, will make the playoffs. But like, if they're going to make it, I hope they win the Super Bowl. Like shit. If you're going to ruin your draft choice, ruin it all the way. Pick last.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
I mean, I can't pick Chiefs Packers because you already did. Like that would be my pick. But
yeah,
I want to say Chiefs Saints. Like I think that would. I think I don't believe.
I don't think the Saints offense is going to be able to do enough.
I just think we also haven't seen Drew Brees with Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. Like I think.
But even when Brees gets back, he's coming back from what 11 rib fractures.
If he's 100%, if he's fine,
ready to go, he's not going to be 100%.
But they're going to take their sweet ass time bringing him back. They're not going to bring him back till he's good.
Do you start Taysom Hill in the first round in the playoff game if Drew Brees is not quite ready?
If Drew Brees is 75%, no, fuck that. If Drew Brees is like 50%, then you at least split snaps. But if he's like 75%, you start Drew Brees, no question. Taysom Hill is a bad quarterback. Like
great tight end.
Yeah, great tight end. Like if the Saints have to play, like running through these teams, Saints play the Cardinals and Taysom Hill's at quarterback, they'll probably lose that game. And any team besides, I don't know, maybe the Rams, definitely the Giants, like they're going to lose that game if Taysom Hill is their quarterback.
Yeah.
I think if he can get back to 75%, 100%, I think
75 and 100 are pretty different.
Yeah, between 75 and 100. Okay. They go to the Super Bowl. If they win it, Brees is just like, all right, fuck that. I'm done. Like, I'm retiring. Like, just riding into the sunset type John.
I'm going to go drink a Budweiser. Was that Peyton's line?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he literally was on the field and was like, no, I'm going to drink a Budweiser. Yes, Strat, the show should be on Spotify.
By tonight.
Yeah.
If we can.
Sometimes it doesn't, like, I'll post it on Anchor, and sometimes it'll take, like, a while for it to go up on Spotify, I've noticed.
Facts. But Spotify is usually pretty quick, but Apple Pods is a while.
Huh.
But you know what? It doesn't.
I'll send you the text. Don't worry.
You know what? It doesn't take a long time to upload to Anchor, because Anchor helped us put our show together. So shout out Anchor.
We don't get money for that. We only get money for the read. We only get money for the read. Like,
you know who did help us put our show together? Breaker.
Yeah. I'm only going to listen to the show on Breaker from now on. I'm deciding that right now.
All right, let's wrap.
That's a lie.
This.
Also, I'm probably gonna play it on Spotify. But
Yeah.
sorry, Breaker.
We will be back next week. We'll be recapping this blistering NFL season. We're getting
maybe this will be the best week of the season. Who knows?
Yeah, no. We're getting towards the end. We'll have NBA talk coming back next week.
Yes, sir.
Closer and closer to the season. Ben, you got anything else?
No.
Cool. All right. Ben, always a pleasure. Talk to you guys next week.